Hello and welcome to the video by TrumpExcel. I am Sumit Bansal, and in this video I am going to show you how to get the data from a text file into Excel using Power Query. Now before Power Query existed, the way to import the data into an Excel file was to open the text file in Excel. So let's say if I use the old method, I would go to File, go to Open, browse and locate the file which is here, sales data June, which is in a folder here in the desktop, and I can open this file. And now when I open this file, it shows me the text import wizard where I have to specify these details, and I can then have this data in Excel. And now if I want to make any changes to this file or to this data, then I can do this in Excel. The problem here is that next month when the new sales data come in, I would have to repeat these entire steps. So let's say, for example, I want the product ID to be a number. I don't want KL, but I only want 2, or I only want 1 and 4 and 3. Then I can simply split this. But if I do this in Excel, the next time new month's data come in, I would have to do this for that month's data as well. But this is where Power Query can automate the process, and we'll see how it's done. Let me first close this. Now I have a new workbook here, and let me show you how to get the data from text using Power Query. So I would go to the data tab, and here I have from text CSV option. When I click on it, it opens the import data dialog box. And here again, you go to the folder, locate the file, which is sales data June here, and click on import. Now it will not load the data into Excel directly. It will first show me the data and ask me if I want to transform this data in Power Query or not. So here you see the data, the preview of the data. It asks me if the delimiter is tab. It has identified it as tab. You can change it if you want to, and it shows you the preview based on the first 200 rows. If you want to see it based on the entire data set, you can do that. Now there are two options. First is you can load this data in Excel. So you can load it here, click here and load it, or you can edit it in Power Query. And what I want to do is I want to edit because I do not want these KL alphanumeric strings. I only want the number. So I would click on edit. This will open the query editor, and I have the data here. Now see what happens when the data got imported in query editor. These are the steps that are automatically added. So we had the source data, which is this data, but then Power Query realized that the first header is different than the rest of the data. So it understood that this is the header. So it promoted the headers, and this became the first row, the header row. And then it changed the data type. So for example, here, if I click on data and I go to transform, you can see that the data type is text. Although this is a date, but this is identifying it as a text. So Power Query took the freedom to change the data types. So it changed this data type to date, this remained text, and these have become whole numbers. So if you want, you can keep these steps, but if you want, you can delete these as well. So if you delete these, you will be reverted back to the source data, and then you can make the changes yourself. I'm okay with these steps, so I'll keep this. What I want to do is I want to split this column so that KL is separate and I only have the numeric part. So I would select this column, right click, go to split column, and I have two options, by delimiter or by the number of characters. I want to do it by the number of characters. And here I need to specify the number of characters used to split the text to column. I want it to get split by after 2 characters, because I know only KL is the one that is repeating in the entire data set. So I want this to be separate and then the remaining of the part to be separate. So after 2, I click on OK. See what happens? KL here remains in one column, and the entire thing, the entire number column, becomes a separate column. Now I can simply come here, right click, and remove this column. And also what I can do is I can rename this column. So I can call it product ID instead of product ID .2. And that's it. That's all what I want. So I would come back to file and close and load this data. And now this will load the data into Excel. And it always creates an Excel table, and you can see the table getting created, converting from a gray to a green table. And this is the table that has been created with the same name, that is the name of the query. Now this is all fine. what really happens is when we get the new data, that is where the power of get and transform in Power Query really shines. So see what happens. Now I have this data set, but now when I get a new data set here, so I have June data, but now when I get the July data, I want this data to get refreshed, and I don't have to repeat the entire process again. All I need to do is go back and change the source data. So I will come here, I will double click on this query, so it will open the query editor, and all I need to do here is go to the source step and change the source file. So here the file is sales data June. I would change this to sales data July, and I would click OK. And now when I go to the last step, see what happened. The entire data set has been updated. So now I have these dates which are for July, I have these IDs and quantities, everything is for July. But the process that we followed, where we changed, we split the column, we promoted these headers, we changed the data type, you don't need to do that again and again. Power Query has already done it once for you. This is the workflow it follows, and it will do it automatically for you. Now all I need to do is close and load, and this data would automatically update. Another thing that I want to show you here is, let's say I go back and I change some stuff here in July data. So for example, let me make this set of ones. So I have this new data. So either I get a new file and I change it in the source data, or if the file gets updated, and let me save it, all you need to do is go back to your query, right click and go to refresh. And as soon as you do this, see, the data got updated. And this is where Power Query is really helpful, because you don't have to repeat those steps again and again. You have to just do it once, and then you have the data in Excel where you can simply refresh it. Now if you're creating a pivot table out of it, your pivot table would also refresh when the data changes. All you just have to do is right click and refresh, or go here to the design tab and click on refresh, and it instantly refreshes the data. So this is how you can get the data from one text file and change the source data and instantly refresh it, or if your existing file changes, then you can instantly refresh it. That's it in this video. I hope you found this useful. Thank you and have a nice day.